Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of SoTellUs time. Today's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. Today we're going to be talking about why referrals may be killing your business. What? That's crazy, Troy. Referrals? No, referrals aren't killing my business. Referrals are awesome. We love referrals. Everybody loves referrals. I know guys that have built their entire business all on referrals, and they're just like, yeah, it's awesome, right? Have you talked to some of our clients that are like, man, my business is awesome. It's all built on referrals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, right? It's their badge of honor.
Yeah, and it is. It is. Kudos to you. Yay, big thumbs up. That's exciting that your business is built on referrals. But could it possibly be hurting you? Yes, it absolutely can. I was just talking to a guy the other day, and he's like the #2 real estate agent in Arizona, him and his brother, and they've built this awesome business, and they're always in this magazine every year, like the top 40 under 40 or something like that, and they're crushing it. 8 years in a row, they have been crushing it. Now, the thing is, I was talking about the different streams of leads and business that he gets. And he's like, oh, well, I just get referrals. It's like 99% of my business is from referrals. And I was like, oh, that's great. But don't you think you should have some other types of leads coming in, other, avenues of revenue? And he was like, well, I mean, it's done me really well for the last 8 years, And I was like, well, that's true. That's really good. I'm excited for you. But can I give you one tip? And he's like, what's that? And I said, when it's good, double down.
Yes.
When business is good, double down. Don't make the mistake of, oh, business is great, so I don't have to, I don't have to work as hard anymore. I've got the money's flowing. Everything is good. In fact, we've got a perfect story of that. We had a client quite a few years back now, because this client has sold their business and is retired now and loving life because they made a ton of money. And it's because eventually they listened to us. And let's rewind back to the beginning. So we have this client who comes on, he's using a couple of our products, and we're talking to him one day and we're like, hey, you really should diversify your marketing. You really should, do more than what's your main revenue or, action for revenue right now. And they were like, oh, well, it's referrals. And I'm really proud of that. I've built a great business over the last 20 years, and it's been an amazing business for me. My clients are amazing. I love them. And they're, he was so excited about it. And we were like, well, that's really good. But, when things are good, you really need to double down. Don't make the same mistake that so many business owners that we've walked in the doors to help consult with do, which the mistake they make is usually it's when they, things are good, they just kind of sit back and they enjoy life. And when they're calling us, when they're like, hey, I need you to come in and help, it's a state of emergency, right?
Yes, exactly.
And it's too late, or it's really hard and they have to spend more money and they have to market harder, and it's never at the right time. And so we were like, don't make that same mistake. And he's like, well, I really like my customers and it's fine. Well, fast forward a few years and he calls us up and he's in a state of emergency. And it's funny because we're like, what's going on? And he's like, well, my business, it's slowing down. And like, well, what's happening? And he's like, well, the thing is, I'm getting more obituary notifications and invitations to funerals than I am jobs. And we're like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, my clientele, it was a great clientele. He was in a very wealthy area of California, but it was an older generation, right? It was some older people, and they started dying off. His clientele literally started dying off, which is just, sad. It's not funny. Don't laugh. It's really sad. But he was like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? My business is built on referrals. How do I, keep bringing money in the door? I'm struggling. I'm hurting. And he was in, in a bad situation.
Yeah. I remember he's like, yeah, all that stuff you told me about, like the website and the internet marketing and all those things. Like, I need to do those, and I need to do those like ASAP, like
tomorrow, yesterday.
I need ranking like right away in Google. And we're like, whoa, wait a minute,
It's hilarious. When people come in and they sit down with us and we start going over their problems and their needs and what they need to move forward with, we're like, okay, when do you need this all done by? And they're like, oh, like 2 weeks ago, man. Like last month I didn't get any business in the door. And we're going, oh my gosh, this is too late. But so referrals can absolutely hurt your business because it can make you lazy and it can make you think that, oh, I've got this great bulletproof business because my referrals are never going to end. But just like anything, things can change. So Troy, let's talk a little bit about referral stats.
Right. So referrals are great. And we're not saying like don't get referrals in your business, right? Because we all want more referrals.
Yeah.
But, because they do really work. So here's a couple of stats. I'm a numbers guy. I love the numbers. So referral customers have a 16% higher lifetime value than any other form of marketing. So those customers that are referred to you are worth more money to you in the long run.
Yes.
So that's great. Also, people are 4 times more likely to buy from you when they're referred from a friend. So that's huge too. You have 4 times, the chance of closing the deal when it's a referral from one of your existing customers. And then this one here, I love. This is my favorite, statistic about referrals. 83% of consumers are willing to refer after a positive experience, yet only 29% actually do.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, why is 83 willing to do it, but 29 only do? And, what we've come to find out is one of 2 things. Either A, most business owners are not asking their clients for a referral.
Yeah.
Right? They just never ask them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know why they're not referring anybody to me. I don't know, because you've never asked, right? Or the other thing is they don't give them an easy way to refer business to them.
Absolutely.
So you got to, if you want to increase that number, you got to, ask first off, and then you got to make it easy for them so that they can just do it in a heartbeat. So those are some of the stats. So referrals are really awesome, and they're a great way to grow your business. But if that's all you're relying on, it can actually hurt you. And Trevor's going to talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, because the national average, actually the global average,
average.
The global average of referrals in a business is 2%. So now think about that. So we just had a bunch of listeners and viewers go, oh, well, that's awesome because like 50% or 80% or 90% of my business is referrals. I'm doing a great job, man. This is really awesome. And it's like, no. Think about this for a second. If the global average is 2%, that means, yes, your business is doing really well with referrals. You're doing way above the global average, but you're doing way above the global average, which means your
How
business.
Can that be bad?
Yeah, your business is relying on these referrals. So what happens if they go away? You are going to be in big trouble. It's going to be really bad. So
let me give you an example. I just thought of this actually. Yeah. So here's a really good example. Let's say you're a basketball player, right? And you can make 100% of your free throw shots.
Yeah.
Like you have 100%. You never miss a free throw. And you're like, I am the best basketball player ever because I will never miss a free throw shot.
Yeah.
Right? But your percentage of 3-point shots is 0. Right?
Yeah.
Do you see how you're not doing everything that you could do?
Yeah.
Because how often do you get up and get to do a free throw in a basketball game? Not very often.
Yep.
Right? And especially if they know you're good at it, they're not going to foul you. Right? But the guy who can make the 3-point shot, he has much more range. He can do so many more things. So exactly what you're saying is like, you may think you're doing awesome, because you're so much above that 2%, but you're missing out on all the other marketing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. On all the other opportunity to make that shot.
Yes.
Right? So let's talk about some ways, some sources of leads, right? And having one source. Let's talk about having one source, how having one source of leads coming in is very dangerous.
Right. All right. So I don't want this to sound like a downer. I don't want you to be like, oh, like my marketing is going to stop working tomorrow. No, like I'm just going to give you some different forms of marketing, and I'm going to give you some ideas of ways that those might change, right? That could affect your business. So first and foremost, we talked about referrals, right? So it's awesome. You're getting tons of referrals, but the minute your client or your referral partners stop sharing your business, those leads go away.
Yep.
Right? And there's nothing you can do. You can't force them to talk about you.
That's true.
Right? I mean, you can't make them do it. So that's one thing. Like referrals are awesome, but if for some reason your clients stop sharing, then you lose all those leads.
Yep.
Now let's talk about like Google or Facebook. A lot of people go, oh, well, I get a ton of business from Google or Facebook. That could be like PPC, like paid ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, or that could be like SEO, like ranking on the first page of Google, right?
Yep.
In the organic section. And they're like, I get tons of business from that. Well, that's awesome. But changes to their algorithms, to Google's algorithm, to Facebook's algorithm, could literally drop your visibility like off the charts.
Absolutely.
You could disappear with just one change that they make. Yeah. So again, I'm not like the sky is falling, you're about to go out of business. I don't want you to think that, But I want you to realize that if all of your business comes from Google or Facebook, if they make a change that drops your visibility, then where are your leads going to come from?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll give you an example of that, like even in our own business. So in our ads, and I've talked about this before, in our ads, 50% of our leads come from our Google ads. So pat myself on the back. That's exciting. That's super awesome, right? 50% of the leads. Trevor, you've done an amazing job with your leads. That's really cool. The problem with that is I don't control that. The fact that everybody just went, wow, that's really impressive. That's really good. That's a bad thing because I don't control that traffic. I don't control those leads. So think about that. If tomorrow something changes with Facebook or with Google, my Google ads, or even my Facebook ads that I'm running, then my 50% of my leads are going to go away.
Right.
Now, on top of that though, so here's a caveat to that. The reason I'm not too concerned about it is that with those numbers, we know all of our numbers. Only 30% of our sales come from the Facebook and Google ads.
Right. So we've diversified.
We've diversified basically. So 50%, if tomorrow my leads from Google and Facebook were to go away, 50% of my leads would go away, but only 30% of my, sales per month would go away, which still, I mean, that's a big number, but it's not going to destroy us. It's not going to kill us. So think about that. If you have a channel that is producing, 100% of your leads or 50% of your leads or 50% of your revenue or whatever that is, and it goes away tomorrow, what would happen to your business?
Right.
You want to make sure and look at that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And like you said, I love that you brought that up that, again, we've diversified enough that it's not going to kill our business if one of our channels goes away.
Right.
We'll still have enough time to bring up some other channels.
Yep.
So, okay, let's talk about social media, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, social media, that's where I do all my stuff on social media. I get all my jobs, all my stuff through social media. It's awesome. I've got this huge following on social media, right? Well, I want you to think about this for a second. How many social media sites have come and gone in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot. I mean, my kids asked me the other day, like, what's MySpace? And I'm like, I don't even want to go into that.
Yeah.
Like, it's so dead, but come and gone, right? So again, there's the real popular ones, Instagram, Facebook, they're holding on, but they're also changing. Like Facebook is turning into a site that's mostly for adults, like older adults.
Absolutely.
Kids,
young kids, teenagers like, what, Facebook? That's for old people.
Exactly, right? So if you're trying to get to the kids, where do you need to be? Where are they spending their time right now? I'll tell you, it's like switched like 5 times in the last 2 years where they spend their time. So one is they go in and out of popularity. So you spend all this time, energy, effort, you build up your following, and then it might disappear. Or even worse, you see all these Instagram influencers out there, and I've seen it happen tons of times where their account gets stolen or shut down for some reason, and they went from 1 million followers to 0 followers.
Well, and beyond that, I mean, yeah, exactly. And then in parallel to that, I've seen where I was just reading an article the other day and I watched a video on it, and this girl, she was this Instagram influencer, right? And she had like 20 million followers and everybody loved her. And she was just like, oh my gosh, I just love you guys so much. Like, guys, you don't even know. You guys are just the best. It's so great. Like, you guys just make me feel so good. And I'm so glad that I can influence all of you and make you all just feel so awesome about yourselves and all this stuff. And then the very next post was her going on. She had tried to create a t-shirt line because a lot of people don't realize Instagram influencers, a lot of them don't make very much money. You got to be selling products. You got to be, moving product to making money. And so she creates this brand of her own that's a t-shirt line, and it's hilarious. She gets on there, 0 people bought. She has 20 million followers. She gets like 100,000 likes on everything. She gets like 20,000 comments on everything. People are like, you're changing my life. And then she launches this t-shirt and this new clothing brand and gets 0 sales. And so then she gets on there and she's crying. She's like, you guys all just totally let me down. Like, I don't even know. This is ridiculous. I thought you people loved me. I thought that you were like my friends and like that we were connected, and nobody even bought 1 t-shirt. And this is just ridiculous. So, seeing all these Instagram followers or thinking that you have some sort of loyalty, I can tell you, that can change on a dime.
Right. So again, social media works. It definitely works, but I wouldn't put 100% of my eggs in that basket, right?
No.
Now let's talk about other ones like mailers. right? It's like, oh, well, I've got a great business. I send out these mailers. I get people claiming my coupons or my special offers, and I get leads all the time. And that's great. But if you're mailing, that usually means you're restricted to a specific geographic area, right? Your business, because you're able to mail to them, and at what point do you saturate the market? Right. At what point do people stop paying attention to your mailers because, or maybe another competitor comes in, right?
Absolutely.
And that's a cheaper rate. So again, mailers, there's the benefits of it and there's the negatives of it. So, you have to diversify your marketing. You can't put all your eggs in one basket or you're going to get hit eventually.
We had a dentist that he did mailers and it crushed it the first time he did it.
Yep.
And then he did another round of mailers and he's like, hey, why isn't this working? Like the first time I did it, I got tons of new clients, new patients. Why isn't this working? Well, because they saw you. They saw you already. Yeah. And eventually you're gonna saturate the market. It's not always gonna work. That's why we're always looking at what's new, what's coming out, what should we be doing. And I mean, you can't just pick one. We can't say it enough. You can't pick one thing. And if you have picked one thing, and I guarantee if you have picked one thing, it's probably referrals. And that's why we started with why referrals can kill your business. Because I get all the time, oh yeah, referrals just drive my business. It does. But referrals dry up. Guess what? People die. We had a client that experienced that, right?
Well, and that's a really good point too. Like, because if you really think about it, most business owners, when they start their business, their first jobs come in from referrals.
Yeah.
Friends, family, people they know. So naturally, that's how you start your business and you rely on those referrals. But the problem is, and what we're trying to point out today is if you never grow past that first step of my business comes from referrals, you will never get to where you need to get and you will never bulletproof your business.
Absolutely.
All right. So how do we diversify our marketing?
Yeah.
So let's go through a couple of steps here. I want you to pay attention to these. Okay. First and foremost, look at your competitors and see how they are marketing successfully.
Absolutely.
See what they're doing and see what's working for them. Don't just copy everything they do because, depending on how big they are, there's a good chance that their marketing sucks and they're not making any money off of it. But they're big enough that they don't even care, right?
Absolutely.
So make sure you look at it. You find out, like, is it actually working? Is it not working? The other thing you can do, and that'll give you some ideas of where to go in your industry. Another thing you can do is talk to an expert in a specific marketing strategy to find out what success they've had in your industry. So for example, if you see that your competitors are marketing on Facebook and it looks like it's working, right? So then what you want to do is talk to an expert in Facebook ads and Facebook marketing. And then don't just ask them about like what success have you had in general. What success have you had in my industry? What can you show me? Can you show me some ads that have worked in my industry?
Yeah.
Right? So,
and let me give you a little tip or trick on that. So with Facebook marketing, people are always like, well, man, I see my competitors running ads, but are they really getting to the right people? So one way that you can look at this and see and analyze if it actually is working and they're getting the right people, because like Facebook ads, for instance, are very hard to target and make sure that they get to the right people. And there's a billion Facebook marketers out there that are gonna, crush it for you and all this. So one thing you can do is when you see their ad come up, go to the likes and you can actually click on who has liked it. And then you can go through the profiles. And I know this takes time, but it is a really good way and really smart. And you can go through and actually look at their profiles, look at the people who are liking it. And then you can see like, wow, these are the type of people that I want to get to. And then you can see how they're labeled. So for instance, if you're a business owner, like I do B2B, right? So when I'm looking at my competitors, I click on it and then I look at what are these people titled as? Like, what are they? Does it say CEO or president or entrepreneur or expert, digital marketer? And I'm able to actually kind of analyze all of these people and say, wow, this marketing is working. Or I've looked before and said, this marketing is not working and the targeting is way off. But let your competitors spend all the money to do it. And then you just see, and then you're like, yeah, I can target these people too. That's awesome.
Exactly. That's why we talked about. That's why we say, look at your competitors.
Yep.
Right. So, and then again, find an expert, but the way you determine that they are an expert is based on the success that they can show you for people in your industry.
Absolutely.
Because if you're a CrossFit gym, and they have success in, I don't know, selling watches, that's not the same thing.
Absolutely.
Right? So make sure they have success in your area. The next thing you need to do is you need to determine your budget. So you got to decide how much money you can spend, right? So you have to either A, add more money to your marketing budget so that you can try out the new marketing, or you're going to have to divert money from your other marketing strategies to do the testing. So you need to decide what will be better for your business. Can you afford to add more money? My opinion is always, if you can add money to the budget, do it, because diverting money is going to mean you're going to get less sales off of the other marketing that is working for you.
Yeah.
And so that might put you into a crunch. So you got to pay attention and decide which one works best. And the next thing is take action. It sounds like a really simple, right? Take action. But you need to either learn how to do it yourself, if it's something you can learn how to do, right? Or find a software or something that can help you do it, or pay an expert to do it.
And it sounds so simple. Oh yeah, guys, take action. But like the number one thing when we walk into businesses' doors and we sit down with them, we go through a list of like, are you doing this? 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 And they're like, well, I mean, I know I need to be, but I haven't really been able to. Like, I wanted to. That was last year's goals. We were going to implement that, and that. And then, the year just got away from us. And yes, it's like you have to just take action. And so one thing is start. A good way to do that is start with one thing.
Yes.
Implement it. Move forward. Track it. And then decide if it works. And then you can either get rid of it or you can keep it going and then take another step, which is grab another thing and take action with it. Move forward. You're not moving forward if you're not just at least taking little baby steps towards each one of these things.
Right. And what you said is perfect, because the next two steps are set up your tracking and determine what your return on investment is.
I know what I'm talking
your
about.
ROI. And then when it's working, ramp it up.
Yeah.
Put more money into it to drive more sales, and then start the process over again so that you have 3 or 4 different forms of marketing that are bringing leads into your business.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's all I have as far as, how do you diversify? What have you got, Trevor?
Well, I wanted to just end it with today. We're going to keep it nice and quick for you guys. I want to end it today with, when you are having success, double down. Don't get lazy. It's kind of been a theme of some of our last podcasts, and we've told different stories about how we've struggled and how we didn't double down when we should have, and how having these lazy tendencies. And the thing is that, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're lazy, because I know you have worked your butts off to get to where you are today, but what happens is you think, I've worked my butt off to get to where I am today. And so now I want to take a break. I want to relax. I want to go golf 5 days a week. I want to, go on vacation all the time and do all this good stuff. But in the meantime, what's happening with your business? When things are good, things will not always stay good. Every entrepreneur knows this. You always are going to go through ups and downs. And you may have years of just wonderful, very profitable years, but you will eventually see these lulls. And when you see these lulls is usually when they come running and crying to us. And so we're trying to help you prevent that. So when things are good, double down. And then especially when things are good, diversify.
Yes.
Figure out other ways, because and it's not too late for all of you who are going through a hard time right now, who aren't, thriving right now. You still can find ways to diversify. 90% of businesses that either walk in our door or that we go and visit with, we actually turn away. We say, listen, you don't want to pay us. You don't need to pay us for anything. If you were to just do this, this, and this, X, Y, and Z, it's totally free. Your business will excel and you will be able to hit goals like doubling and tripling your business. And so we actually turn them away. And then what we say is, when you take it to the next level, come back and we can help you from there. So double down and diversify. That's what I got for today.
All right. That's great advice.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching SoTellUs Time. Hope you guys enjoyed it, watching and listening to SoTellUs Time. If you don't know, we have a YouTube show as well where we video this, and you can kind of see me being a weirdo. Troy is very calm and he's awesome all the time and he's very collected. I'm just kind of a crazy guy. But you can either go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in SoTellUs and you will see it, SoTellUs or SoTellUs Time. And then, of course, you can listen to us on any podcast channel. by searching SoTellUs. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, anywhere you guys want to follow us. And we sure love the support and appreciate you guys. We will catch you guys next time on SoTellUs Time.